Oh, we don't know.
But it's hilarious.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they took their hurricane readiness to the next level. Speaking of hurricane readiness, the term hunker down.
Oh, man, yeah. We've been talking about this all day.
All day, because it bothers me.
I like it.
I hate the term hunker down.
But do you know what it means?
So we actually...
Yeah, you squat down.
Yes.
I feel like I should be boarded in my bathroom.
Yes.
Every time I hear it.
What? Because why, when you talk about being ready for a hurricane, do you want somebody to squat? Why is that the...
Because when you fail to board up your door...
You have to squat?
And the tree goes flying through your door... It'll fly over your head.
No, it won't. It will hit you in the face no matter what position you're in.
You're hunkered
and
down.
This is why we were talking about phrases that are better.
So my phrase that I suggested is batten down the hatches. But I was told I can't use that because
for a ship.
I don't live on a boat.
What she was told.
Yes.
And
So-
I disagree. I think that's great.
I thought it was good. It gives that whole old time sea time thing and all that, where you just think of the captain yelling at you.
Where do hurricanes form?
No,
they form in the
You're in a
ocean.
legit storm here.
Yes, batten down the hatches.
Hatches, whatever they may be, are on a ship. You can only batten down hatches because hatches are on a ship. You got the bottom of the ship, you got the steering wheel of the ship, and you got the hatches somewhere that in a storm you have to batten those babies
You're a
down.
hell of a seaman, Chris.
I was at one point.
Weren't we all?
Thanks, Dad. And there's no hatches. When we bought the house, and they said, "Okay, here's this room. This is what this room looks like."
So where were the hatches?
Here's your hatches. Here's the living room. Here's some more hatches. In a store, make sure you button those down.
It's batten down.
Well, you got a button in a house. You got a button a hatch in a house. You batten a hatch on a boat.
I'm just saying, I think it sounds cooler. Hurricanes are formed in the ocean, so therefore they're nautical. You should definitely be using a nautical term.
Which then I said to Laura, they didn't mean to say hunker down. The guy was drunk. He just said it wrong. He meant to say bunker down because you're supposed to make it like you're in a bunker.
Right, like we used to record out of.
Yeah.
And that makes more sense.
Why can't we say bunker down so that way, because if you're hunkering down, you're just squatting.
Because if you're bunkering down, that requires you to have a bunker. But hunkering, you can hunker anywhere you want.
By the time I'm done bordering everything, like
if I'm bordering my front door, I definitely have a bunker.
Yeah.
No, you don't. I think a bunker has to be either in the ground or have the ground built on top of it. That's my idea of a bunker.
Well, I
can't do that. We live in sinkhole territory.
Yeah, we do.
But they do. They have it at the airport for the Army. They have them covered in the land, so they're kind of hidden.
It's always for them.
Always.
Oh,
that's you.
No, it is not. That is definitely not me.
I turned mine off.
I have absolutely zero notifications.
Oh, it keeps going.
Yeah, it's you.
I guess I know who's buying the next stuff for the beer cooler.
It's our daughter asking if she can have the salsa.
Tell her no, that's for the hurricane, which isn't getting here until next year. So
that's really funny.
Yeah.
I see what happened. My phone's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I turned the media
down.
off. But the ringtone didn't turn off. They did an update. I'm a big Android fan. I'll never leave Android. I'll never have an iPhone. And but they did one update where it used to be you would hit the volume and you would get all the volume options. Now you just get the media option. And
that's not true.
Yeah, mine does that. You got to pull down the media to get the other options.
See, when I'm in this, it's just ringtone.
No,
but
I
if
don't
I was
have that.
No, if I was in a media, then it would be media.
I don't have that anymore. I used to have that.
Well, my phone just updated this morning, and I still have it.
I don't have that. I haven't had that for a while.
Your
but we
phone
have two
is
different
stupid.
versions, though. I have a note, and you have a non-note.
Okay.
My phone is still superior. It just doesn't do that in every way. My phone's practically perfect in every way.
Okay. Well, that's how I said I was going to go to work tomorrow as Mary Poppins when I flew in on my umbrella.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yes, he's the coolest.
So far, every day when I've gone into work, I've meant to take my umbrella with me, and every day I've left it in the car.
I've taken it with me every day just so I can do the Yondu Mary Poppins joke if it happens.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
That's right.
So that's how I will be going into work tomorrow.
I can't do that because I have a Harry Potter umbrella.
Aww.
It wouldn't work.
Are you sure you have a Harry Potter umbrella in your car?
I either have Harry Potter or Deadpool.
Are you sure?
Did you take them?
I don't know.
But she might have.
I'm going to need that back. I need one of them back because it fits. Those are the ones that fit in the lockers.
Uh-huh.
Your Zelda doesn't fit in the locker.
I know, and I won't bring Zelda in a hurricane.
And your Darth Vader doesn't fit in the locker.
Somebody stole my Darth Vader. It's gone.
Really? You lost the Darth Vader umbrella?
It was in the garage next to the door, and now it's gone, so I don't know where it is.
It's like $150,000 umbrella.
I know. I'm really upset because that was my favorite umbrella.
It wasn't me.
I don't know where it is.
Laura's the only person in the world that collects umbrellas.
I love
umbrellas.
umbrellas.
No, I know. I remember having this talk about umbrellas because she found one at BAM.
Yeah, I found the...
Was it the Doctor Who?
No, it was the Game of Thrones. It was...
You don't even watch Game of Thrones.
I didn't buy it. I almost did. That's not true. I watched like 6 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you watched the super dark one, which was a bad one to watch.
It was a terrible episode.
I've still never watched.
Oh, no, I watched the whole last season.
Oh, that was the worst season they ever did.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I was like, why would I watch this show?
Because the first 6 seasons were brilliant.
The first season was good. The second season, I lost interest.
The second season used to be the worst season until the last season.
He's really winning me over with this right now.
I know. You should watch Game of Thrones.
I know.
It's
But I
great.
need to skip the second season and the last season.
Yes.
Other than that, it's gold.
Unfortunately, you have to do the second season.
Oh, now I can't watch it if you told me to skip it.
Well, there is some moments in there, but for the most part, it's a lot of politicking.
Oh, I don't want to watch that. That's why I don't watch real news.
But unfortunately, the story progresses in such a way that you can't skip anything. But once you get through that second season, it's fine. The last season isn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but compared to the rest of the show, it's very rushed. You can tell it was rushed. You can tell they didn't tie it all together. It's almost Lost-like.
Oh, I love Lost.
Even the last season?
I loved all of Lost. I thought it tied everything together really well.
Even ending up in the church?
Yes.
What about the polar bear?
I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Okay.
Are you drunk?
Yes.
I don't. They did not. The last. No. I don't think they planned it. I don't think they planned on Lost going that long.
Maybe they did.
I don't think they had a blueprint.
Maybe they did.
We are everybody.
We are everybody. Not Penny's boat.
The first season of Lost is the best season.
Yes, it is. I finished that season in 2 days.
Yes, it was.
I remember when
great.
it came out, I got it on DVD because it's that old. And I got it on DVD and I finished it in 2 days. It was so good.
It was really good, and then
Second season was okay.
it got.
Maybe it's a second season thing. Because if you have a really good first season, no matter what, the second season's going to be a letdown compared to the first one.
Well, it's often with trilogy movies too.
The second.
That's
is
not
always-
true. Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie out of the whole Star Wars.
There is exceptions.
Oh my god! I don't want to go down this greatest movie of all Star
There is
Wars
exceptions, but for the
path.
most part, in trilogies, the second one is usually the worst.
Back to the Future 2 is really good. I think 3 is probably the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, 3 is the worst. 2 is okay, and of course,
I liked 3.
No, I'm just saying 3 is still good. But if you had to pick which one's the worst one out of the 3, I would have to say 3.
I don't think I could pick a worse one. I liked them all.
I mean, out of the Ghostbusters trilogy, the one with the women was the worst.
I didn't really mind. I didn't think they did that bad a job. It wasn't the Ghostbusters I asked for, but it definitely did not deserve the hate it got.
No, it didn't. I actually really enjoyed that movie. But when you look at the first 2, it's tough to compare.
Yeah, and they're redoing it,
I know.
but I don't.
With Paul Rudd, who's like
Yeah, I don't
ageless.
Know I don't know what they're doing.
He's
with it.
immortal. I think he's a Highlander. Can we do a Highlander reboot with Paul Rudd?
I thought you have to do Sean Connery if you're doing Highlander.
No, he retired from acting. I think he retired after he realized he should have taken that Gandalf role, even though he didn't understand it.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have retired on
Oh, I could not see
League
him.
of
as-
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
He should have retired on something better.
He would not have made a good.
Could you imagine
Gandalf.
him as Gandalf?
I
Give me
could
the
see-
ring, Frodo.
I
Yeah,
can see him as
no.
Gandalf.
Take the ring, Frodo.
No.
Yeah, he could do Gandalf.
I don't think he could have done.
You shall not pass.
I don't think he would have been a good
You
Gandalf
shall
at all.
not pass.
Seriously, I think Albus Dumbledore was the best Gandalf. So, I mean, really, there's that.
I think
Elvis
Anthony
Dun-
Hopkins could have been Gandalf too.
Albus Dumbledore. They're the same person.
No, they're not.
No.
How dare you? Gandalf would have never attacked Harry like that for putting his name into the cup.
Oh.
You shall not pass the sight of fava beans.
Oh, that's Anthony Hopkins. That would have been a good one, too.
That's what I said.
That would have been a good one, too. I like that one. I would have been okay with that. Odin as Gandalf.
Chris Helmsworth as Gandalf.
I'd watch that, too. Actually, I just like Chris Hemsworth. I think he's very entertaining. I would probably just watch him in anything because I think he's really funny.
How did you feel about him in the reboot of Men in Black?
I thought that he would have done a really good job. I didn't get to see the movie, but overall, I was really excited to see him in it because I thought that, from what I saw in the trailers, I thought that he was going to do really well.
It looked good in the trailers.
I don't think it was terrible. It just, you can't take Men in Black in all of its glory and try to take it a different direction.
I think from what I read, it was just a poor script that kind of tailed off into a way that you didn't expect it to at times, and predictable twists.
Well,
Yeah.
how did they work Thor and Valkyrie into the Men in Black series? That's what I don't understand.
Well, easy. Once she became queen of Midgard,
They
she
just
can do whatever she
reunited.
wants.
And it felt so good.
I just think they had such great chemistry as Thor and Valkyrie. They did not have that same chemistry as Men in Black.
And it had Liam Neeson in it. You can't go wrong with Liam Neeson.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth was the best part of the Ghostbusters reboot.
He was, yeah. Definitely. And what's her face?
Kate McKinnon.
Yes.
They were the two best parts of that entire thing. I could have watched a whole movie of just those two doing stupid things like with the other people and just being like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was doomed from the start because it got so much hate before it even came out. That it didn't matter if it was the most brilliant script ever written.
No.
It was not going to do well.
No, and those two were phenomenal in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with trying to do anything new with any classic movie.
That's just it. I feel like whenever it's like a reboot of some sort, you have the people that are just so nostalgic for
Right.
the original that no matter what you do, they're going to just completely shit on it, no matter what.
They missed the boat because they could have had Aykroyd and Murray and Winston.
I think the
come
next
in
one
and
is
be
going to
like,
have them. Aren't they
recruit
all
them.
supposed to be?
Yeah, they're all going to be in it, but they're playing the original characters.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
And that's just it. I thought when
They
they were going to
should
do
have
that,
done
they
that
were
in the
going to play their
beginning.
characters, not play cameos as separate
Yes.
people. Like
Right.
They
They
did.
needed to be who they needed to be the Ghostbusters.
Not be like it was a separate universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's because we got to flip-flop genders and flip-flop colors and flip-flop this, and they're too concerned with that instead of telling a good story anymore.
And it's not a matter of like anybody's like gender, race, whatever. If you're good for the role, you're good for the role. Just let them play it.
Right.
Right.
And all that. And it doesn't matter. Just let the people play the role. Don't be so concerned with like, all right, I need to make this person female and so I don't upset this demographic.
Right. You have to tell the story first and let the story play out, and the story will tell you if they're black or white or male
Right.
or
That's
female.
why that's
or a
where the
dog
audition
or
process
whatever.
comes in.
Yes.
Because you may have something in your mind where it's like, all right, it needs to be somebody like Natalie Portman. I want somebody like Natalie Portman to play this character. And the next thing you know, you have Tessa Thompson come in and she does the greatest audition ever. Guess what? Cast her.
Right.
She's the one that's for the role.
Yeah.
I think so too, but like I think what Chris is saying, like 007 is now going to be a woman. Well, when you
But
pass
it's
it on to her, when he retires and passes it on, she could be a different number.
Well,
like she doesn't
like
have
Doctor
to
Who.
be 007.
Right. But it's like Doctor Who. Like
Right.
every time, like look at the backlash they got when it was like, oh, here we're going to finally have a female doctor.
Because they could have done, we know that Gallifrey still exists. Spoiler, sweetie, if you haven't gotten that far in Doctor Who, which I don't know
No.
where you've been.
Yeah. Always say the spoiler first and then say
Oh,
spoiler
anyways,
after.
whatever.
Spoiler it after. That's the order
Spoiler,
it goes in.
sweetie. That's the way I go. But like Gallifrey still exists, so you could potentially have made a very strong Time Lord woman who didn't have to necessarily be Doctor Who.
They did that already.
Right, Missy, the Master. Spoiler, sweetie. She was a strong. Well, she was crazy, but anyways, they could have. They still had a female Time Lord. They could have done a whole series after.
Right.
You didn't have to necessarily, and I think that was the point like the fans were trying to make. It's not that we don't think a woman could carry that lead, but you're taking a character
But I also think that they look at some of those negative fans too much, even though they're not the majority of fans.